everybody. I'm Pastor Stephen Friedrich. I serve at Peace Lutheran Church in Knoxville, Tennessee.
And I am Andrea Roche, and I'm the Director of Children and Youth Ministries at First Presbyterian Church in Cartersville, Georgia.
Awesome. Andrea, thank you so much for jumping in today, because I know you love talking about baptism and I love talking about baptism, and that's what we're doing today. So one of the fun things, I was asking my mom about my baptism, because I was baptized on January 27th, 1985, just down the road at Messiah Lutheran Church here in Knoxville, and asked her, hey, so tell me my baptism story. And well, she was telling me this, that, and the other, and who was there. But then she was saying, well, it wasn't really a deeply spiritual moment, but it was everything it needed to be. I'm like, all right, cool. I'll take that, Mom. I'll take that. So Andrea, what's your baptism story?
So mine, I hope it was deeply spiritual or eventually deeply spiritual, but mine was more of a party because my parents, when I was, my mom was pregnant with me, they had just moved back from South Africa, and they didn't live in a house. They were building a house when I was born, and we lived on a boat on Lake Lanier, which is a very large lake in Georgia. So our family was living on a boat. We were not connected with a church back in the States yet, but my parents wanted to get me baptized, and I appreciate them for that. But we, again, like I said, we didn't have a church congregation or a church home yet. So they had friends who were members of a Presbyterian church in Atlanta, and those set of friends asked their pastor, would you baptize a baby on Lake Lanier? She said yes, and I'm so grateful for her and her congregation supporting her doing that. So I was baptized on the bow of a boat on Lake Lanier. As always, I have pictures. That's me. My parents are in Hawaiian shirts, and the Presbyterian ministers in full attire. My godfather was in a 1980s velour suit, it looks like. So I got baptized on the front of a boat, but the party was on the island, and friends and family my parents hadn't seen in years because they had lived in South Africa. So everyone came. My grandparents from New York came, my grandparents from Minnesota came, so many friends. We had a huge pig roast, and it literally was just a celebration, a time to get together and celebrate me joining God's family. So, but what also makes my baptism special is in 2020, my niece Sophia was almost 1 year old, and my sister-in-law Sarah has always loved my baptismal story, and we still have the boat. So my niece Sophia was baptized in the same fashion, on the same boat, on the same lake. My brother and sister-in-law even bought similar. And Sophia's godfather, my brother's best friend, Brian, went to Goodwill and found a nice velour outfit as well. So she was baptized. She's now 3. So part of my baptism now is sharing my story with her and sharing her baptism by me telling her when and why and how, and sharing that memory together. So that's what makes mine even more special, I think. So
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. That's great. And
Yep.
and just and the connections between the scene when you were baptized and the scene when your niece was baptized. I mean, just wonderful. I love it.
Yep.
And I mean the party. I mean, there's that. I love it, because I mean baptism, of course, is deeply, I mean, it's serious and it's significant. I mean, God is doing something big, but it's a party. There should be a party. There should be rejoicing here. So I love that as part of your story. Cool.
Thank you.
So that's the story of when you were baptized.
Yes.
What does your baptism mean to you today?
Well, it's a rainy day here in Georgia, and as I was unloading groceries for my lock-in tomorrow, I was reminded of my baptism, as you would often tell us when we work together. And I've shared that with many others. You know, it's raining today. On the day I preached January 8th, Baptism of Our Lord Sunday, it was a rainy, stormy day. And I literally said, as you go out, remember your baptism. So remembering that, but first knowing your story was part of what I shared with my congregation now, is know your story. ask people who were there and things like that. So it's a short story shared by all of God's children. And as we're claimed in baptism as God's and we become a part of God's family, we're urged to nurture each other in the faith. So when we talk about baptism and you don't know much about your own, but you've been witness to other baptisms, especially in our congregation that has many generations of people there from the same family. They've seen their grandkids get baptized in the same fonts that they were once baptized in. Sharing those stories and making those connections, I think, are a huge part, especially in the congregation that I'm in. So, but my biggest thing about baptism isn't just something that happens once and in our little group. Once we're baptized, we're called to go out and share that, grace and love with others and with our neighbors and things along those lines. So that's just something that's always been important, the going out. Once we're remembering our baptisms, once we've experienced and been a part of a baptism, is the sending and the going out and share God's love with everyone, with every person you meet.
I love it. What a good word. What a good word.
Thanks.
I mean, I love the remembering, but
Yeah.
I love that you take it from, I mean, the remembering, but it's not just remembering for the sake of remembering. It's remembering so that it forms and shapes your life and you're living in the world for the sake of your neighbors. And that's at the core of baptism. I mean, God doesn't just do this for us so that we can sit like a bump on a log.
Yeah.
I mean, it is this transformation that happens. And like you had the party at your baptism, I mean, the idea of inviting others into God's party. I mean, that's what you do. And sometimes you got to share some food with them. Sometimes you got to reach out and love them and put an arm around them and love people like that. So, Andrea, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for asking me to share my story.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and thanks for everybody for watching today. And if you have not been baptized, we would love to talk to you about this gift and get you connected with the congregation so that you might be invited into God's party, into God's family, because this grace of God, it's for you. And if you have already been baptized, please, yes, remember your baptism and remember that it's God naming and claiming you, but also sending you into the world to share God's love with others. So thank you so much for watching. Please remember your baptism with great joy and take care. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.